This is a specific message for someone with a soul pattern of identifying with pain, a soul pattern of using the identification with other people's pain, suffering, or disability to expand your soul. I want to make it clear that the purpose of this message is to just bring some awareness to this soul pattern you have. It is more about the soul pattern and bringing awareness to that pattern so that you can make different choices moving forward if that is what you prefer. It is less about what you actually do, as a human. It's more about the soul pattern. So I'm talking to someone who you always relate to other people's pain. And I mean, we all do this, right? We all do this, and this is an important part of being human. But I'm talking to somebody who does this like more than usual, right? Do you like almost every time you hear someone describing their pain, their suffering, something they've struggled with, maybe a medical problem they're having, um, just whatever it is, right? Do you almost always feel yourself identifying with that, saying, yeah, me too. Yeah, I've had that same experience. Yeah, I feel that too. Yeah, that's like me. Um, so I'm talking to someone who does this like almost as a primary way of relating to others, like relating through pain. And so why might this be something to be aware of? It's because if you are constantly identifying with other people's pain, that actually just creates more opportunities for that type of pain and suffering in this life. And that's why I'm saying this is more about the soul pattern, because this is something you've been doing for many, many lifetimes. It was part of your descension cycle. It was like you chose to expand yourself through the identification with pain. At the soul, you kind of looked out into the universe and you saw all of these souls that had particular flavors of pain and suffering. And you kind of thought, I can use that to broaden myself. I can use that to become more expanded, right? I can use that to evolve. And so you adopted this soul navigational mechanism of looking over there and seeing someone who's suffering and then going, I want to feel what they're feeling. I want to know what that type of pain is like. And you use this as a way of descending, and you use this as a way of exploring consciousness, and you use this as a way of, really broadening yourself. It's this feeling of what you wanted to broaden yourself out into pain and suffering and struggle and disability. And so you've done that, right? You've done that, and you've learned a lot, and you have expanded yourself, and you have really cured yourself of any type of naivete, right? This has brought a really rich wealth of soul experience to you. And so now it's the time to ask yourself, do you want to continue navigating your soul's journey through the identification with pain? Do you still want to use that as your navigational mechanism? That's up to you, right? And that is really the only point of this message. Do you still want to navigate that way? And this is a choice you can make right now, but it is really a continual choice that you'll be making over the coming years when you hear people talking about, their problems. Watch for a kind of knee-jerk reaction you have to want to include yourself in on their pain, right? Um, because your instinct might be to go, oh yeah, 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 like maybe I have that too, right? Maybe I have that too, or yeah, 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 I've had that same experience. Yes, 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 I understand that pain. I've been through that same pain. And of course, if you're simply making a true statement. If someone is describing exactly what you've been through, then then of course you relate to that. That is just something that is true, right? But watch out for the knee-jerk reaction to kind of take other people's painful experiences that are kind of adjacent to yours or just kind of similar to yours. Watch for that impulse that you have to identify with that, because that's actually, you're expanding your own capacity for pain and suffering when you do that. You're literally broadening your capacity for pain when you do that, when you identify with problems that are just a little bit outside of what you have actually experienced. So just ask yourself if that's really what you want to do.